Today, I wanted to talk about my personal goals and a few planning tips that I've come across and that I've been using as well. And as someone who has struggled with this for so long, I think that it can benefit a lot of people to hear stories like this, where you go from being completely disorganized, very low functioning, without a clear direction in life, and without any realistic goals or a functioning daily or weekly schedule. I always used to-do lists because I could literally not function without a to-do list. I could not decide what to do and do it at the same time. I had to separate those two procedures. The decision making and the execution had to be separate. And I think that is my first tip for planning and scheduling and creating tasks for yourself. You cannot start doing things and at the same time decide what there is to do. You need to sit down, decide in the beginning, and then start executing those tasks. So for me, I always used a to-do list, and I used to use a monthly, weekly / daily spread, and I just used a simple A4 page in which I would just write down the days, write down my general to-do list, and then more specific daily to-do lists. I think it's essential to create realistic goals based on your personal schedule, but also based on your energy levels. So I used to put unrealistic expectations and unrealistic goals, and I didn't really take into account how much time I have, how much money this is going to cost, and the most important, how much energy and focus is needed to execute those tasks. And this is my second tip for planning. You need to set realistic goals, and the way to do that is by first taking perhaps 1 week or a whole month to gather data. It's important to know which days you have the most energy, which hours of the day you have the most energy, and try to adjust those levels of energy and try to execute the important tasks during those times. So if I know that in the morning at 7 until 8 a.m. I have the most energy or the most focus, I might choose to do my planning during that time. So you need to sort of track the energy levels, the focus levels, as well as your mood. That is very important, because if you're in a bad mood, you cannot do anything, you cannot do tasks. You're usually going to reach for something else, something that will help you relax or feel better. So you need to process that data and see which times are the best for you to plan your goals and to execute your goals. What I usually do is, at the time that I know that I'm the most focused and the most conscious, let's say, because I do suffer from brain fog sometimes, during that time I will do all of my planning, all of my decisions. And during the time that I cannot focus, that I don't have much energy, or I'm not very conscious, or I have brain fog, I will just follow the list. So it's much easier to just execute things without thinking, without making decisions, without being fully conscious at the time. That way, all of your energy, your physical energy, not your mental energy, because during that time, you don't have mental energy. So it's much easier to just use your physical energy. Also, that's very important to know, when do I have mental energy and when do I have physical energy. So for example, if I drink coffee, I might get some clarity, I might get some mental energy, but I will mostly get physical energy. So right after I have coffee, I usually just get up and do chores, cleaning, organizing, all of that stuff. So it's important to know when your physically and mentally available for each task, and to separate those tasks according to the type of energy that they require. Another one, and this one obviously has been said so many times, is to break down your projects into smaller steps. Obviously, you definitely have heard of this, and it's very important to do that. And we're talking about big projects or even smaller projects. In the beginning, I used to break down my cleaning tasks, and that's how I sort of developed systems in which I do certain things. So for cleaning, for example, I had to break down the fact that so when you go into a room, first you need to remove all of the items from surfaces, clean the surfaces, for example, and then do the floor or do other areas of the room. So I needed that structure, I needed that system so I can function better. And most importantly, so I don't have to make decisions while I'm working, while I'm doing something physical. And it's so much easier to do things, boring tasks like cleaning and organizing all that. It's so much easier to do that when you can just zone out, when you can listen to music, a podcast, or something else. So mentally you're somewhere else, and you have the to-do list or the system telling you what to do, instead of having to be consciously there and make decisions on what to do exactly. And my last tip for planning and executing your projects and your tasks is that it's best to do a little bit every day instead of a lot for a few days. So a little bit every day means that you do one single step every single day. And that can take 5 to 10 minutes. It can even take 30 minutes depending on your schedule. I found that doing something for 10 minutes is just perfect. 10 minutes is nothing. You can fit that in your schedule very easily. It will not tire you physically or mentally, and you do progress in your projects and your tasks, even with 10 minutes a day. A little bit every day, I think, is much better, because the alternative could be that you're looking at this massive mountain of tasks that you have to do in a single day, and that's just not realistic. Because even if you have the whole day to yourself, even if it's Saturday and you have nothing else to do, other things will come up. You cannot spend the whole day doing one thing so you can cover all of those small steps. You need to do daily small steps. That's why we use the previous tip, which is to break down the projects into smaller steps. So even cleaning can be broken down into smaller steps, with doing 10 minutes of cleaning every single day instead of doing 4 or 5 hours of cleaning on Sunday. In terms of my personal goals, most of it has to do with self-development, management of daily chores, and project development. So for me, when I was starting out and I didn't really know where to begin, my goal was to feel healthy, happy, and have enough energy to do the things that I want to do. So in order to do that, I did some research into what are some of the healthy habits that someone could do every day to be healthy and happy, right? Sounds like a cliche, but it really works. There are simple things that you can do every day that add up to you being healthy and feeling energetic and happy. Happiness might be a bit of a vague term, so I prefer to say productive. I know it's not the same, but feeling okay is enough for me. I don't need to be happy all the time. Nobody needs to be happy all the time. You just need to feel okay. You just need to be healthy and have enough energy to do all of the things that you want to do or that you have to do every day. So some of the habits that I started doing, that I literally just followed from the general healthy habits that I found online, is, for example, meditation. And that is something that has been proven to reduce stress and to increase your focus throughout the day. Exercise, obviously, so many benefits. Everybody knows the benefits of exercise, and I chose to do that by getting a gym bicycle that I use every day, and it's literally the easiest thing to do. I have it right next to my desk. I get up, I do 10 minutes 3 times a day. Honestly, it's the easiest thing you can do. Me going to the gym, that was not realistic at all. And it wasn't realistic for me to take a whole hour of the day and perhaps more, because you have to get ready, you have to actually go there. I do have a gym close to my house, but again, it would take a long time and you have to sort of dedicate that hour plus just to exercising, and that to me was not realistic or efficient at all. So for me, the easiest thing I could do is get the gym bike. It was a used bike, very cheap. I have it right here in my bedroom. I can exercise whenever I want to without having to spend extra time getting ready or going to another location. And obviously, you buy it once and that's it. You don't have to pay anything else, like a gym membership, for example. Another thing that I started doing was obviously eating healthy. To me, eating healthy seemed very complicated, but at the end of the day, it's very simple. Just eat more vegetables, definitely more legumes, beans, lentils, all of that. No sugar. I cannot eat sugar. I cannot eat desserts in general, so I do avoid those. I might have a dessert a few times per month, but it's definitely not a daily thing. And it was just as simple as that. Avoid anything fried and just focus on vegetables. Steamed vegetables to me was easier to eat than salads, and just focus on vegetables and legumes, really. The other thing that I started doing was gardening, and this was as an excuse to be outside more. So it serves like a dual purpose. Actually, it's threefold, because first of all, you're out in the sun, you get some sunshine, you grow vegetables that you can eat later on, and also you exercise or you move in general. It really helps with overall staying active and moving, while also getting some fresh air and relaxing your eyes by looking far away instead of on a screen all the time. The other thing was to learn something new, so I chose to learn a new language, which for me was German. I sort of randomly picked that language, and as soon as I started it, I really liked it, so I just kept going at it. And some other goals, some other habits I am really struggling with. Obviously, you need to be social. Socializing is a very important habit. I don't know if you can call it a habit or an activity, but socializing is essential. And I do have people in my life that I talk to daily. For example, I live with my parents, so I do interact with them every day. And I do have friends that I interact with, but I don't feel that I have enough socializing in person. I don't really go out much, and that would be something great to add to my weekly schedule. For example, a weekly outing with friends, that would be perfect to sort of cover that habit of socializing. But that is essential. It's an essential habit, and it's proven to make you healthier by reducing stress. So it's something that I'm looking forward to adding to my routine. Also, it's important to practice your hobbies. And for me, my hobbies are journaling, planning, drawing, illustrating. So I have incorporated that into my daily routine. And also, one of my goals for this year was to start a YouTube channel. Obviously, here we are. From my YouTube channel, I don't really expect anything. I know how hard it is to grow on social media right now, and I'm really not expecting this to become a career anytime soon or ever, really, because there's so much competition out there, and I don't really expect that. And I couldn't really start getting into it by having those expectations. I couldn't expect to make money from this or to make this my full-time job or anything like that. The reason I started it was because I truly enjoy the process, and it is part of my goal for self-development. It is also a way to stick to my hobbies and my interests, and also to share it with people. And I don't know if you can call it socializing, but connecting with people online, to me, really helps with that part. So that's why I wanted to do this. I'm really not expecting anything. So it might seem a bit of a cliche to say exercise or eat healthy or meditate, but really when you actually do that every day, it really works. It really can make you healthy. And I'm not going to say happy, but you definitely feel energized and productive. So, yeah, those are my planning tips and my personal goals. Hopefully, you find it useful and you get inspired to start your own planning journey or to enrich it in some way. Let me know down below if you have any questions or any suggestions for planning system or any planning tips as well. I would really appreciate that.